Paranormal Punches is part of the Podbelly Network. Go to podbelly.com for more great podcasts.
Hey, y'all. This is Frank the Bigfoot, and you're listening to the Paranormal Puncher.
Hey, friends! Welcome to another exciting episode of Paranormal Punchers. I'm Mark.
I'm Alicia.
I'm Nash.
I'm Dave.
All right, here we are, all back from Philadelphia.
Yes.
And it was a great trip.
Yeah.
It was
An awesome trip.
fantastic to be on stage above the masses.
Yeah.
You know, doing our pod show, being cheered on by thousands and thousands of people.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Punchers.
Yeah,
I
Might
just
be an
loved it.
exaggeration.
When you did that crowd surfing thing, Mark, I
it
was
was
really
great.
happy with it.
It was great.
That was really awesome.
Yeah.
It was really awesome.
But we're back, and we're going to do a regular episode for you. This time around, we're going to talk about the Beast of Gévaudan.
Something we need the background going, "Arr."
What is the Beast, you ask? Well, let me tell you. It's kind of like a gigantic wolf that terrorized the French countryside between 1764 and 1767. Thank you, Kevin J., for the topic suggestion. And everybody listening, if you don't like it, then you know it's Kevin's fault.
That's right.
Right. All
That's
right.
your cue, dear.
Oh, thank you. So you already said this, but I'm gonna do it again. Between
Because
17,
you can't, when you have it on your note sheet,
I know.
you have to read it, right?
I have to read it.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
From the absolute start.
Right.
Yeah.
Between 1764 and 1767, a mysterious creature called the Beast ravaged the rural region of
Gévaudan.
Gévaudan, where around 100 men, women, sorry.
Are we
You
singing
did
that?
so well on
About
Judge.
100 men and women.
You did so well just leading up to that.
I know, sorry. 100 men, women, and children were attacked. I did see other sources that it could have been as much as like 300 people, but
Yeah, I found that it attacked over 300, but definitely killing at least 100.
okay. So while many believed it to be a wolf, there are some that suggest that the beast may have actually been something else.
Dun, dun.
So the first recorded attack occurred in April 1764 when a young woman was tending a flock of cattle. Thankfully, she survived because the cattle actually defended her and attacked the wolf.
Good cows.
I know.
Good cows.
I
I
cast
know.
bovine shield.
Yeah.
Really slow. I could just imagine all these cows really slowly kind of coming together to form a meat wall.
Right. Now, the first fatal
Cows were
attack.
like, I just saved her. They're definitely not going to eat me. Like, nope.
No.
The beast will be so full going through the cows,
Right.
it gives up before it gets to the human.
The first fatal attack was 2 months later on June 30th, 1764. And it was a 14-year-old Jean Boulet. She was tending a flock of sheep. So it seems like a lot of kids are tending flocks of animals.
It's 1700s,
True.
so there's not a whole lot. There's not a lot else to do.
Yeah, how old was
True.
the kid?
She was 14.
Oh, man, that's an adult.
Okay. No,
Yeah,
you're right.
It's time to
You're
get
right.
a job.
You're either flocking or so
You're
you're flocking your sheep or you're
Stop there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
stop.
there's not a whole lot of things to do. So as you're a kid of becoming a middle teenager, you're getting some responsibilities. You got to go
Yeah.
flock the sheep. Or
Anyway.
cows or chickens or whatever else is
Okay.
out there.
All right. The attacks, they continued on throughout the summer and well into the fall. For the most part, the beast only attacked women and children, but occasionally would go after a man who was by himself. And there were so many attacks that it was assumed that there was actually more than one beast.
Beasts.
Beasts, yes. The people of Gévaudan.
What?
What is it?
Gévaudan.
Hold on, we gotta play.
Shh,
Get everything
I know.
still from there.
No.
No. Okay. The people, they were captivated by the stories of the beast and the bravery of those who went hunting for it. There were bounties that were offered, because bounties were offered, hunters began combing the countryside in search of it. The one positive thing the beast did was bring the country together. It unified them in their determination to kill it.
Okay, I guess that's a positive. That's a silver lining.
Yeah.
Now, on October 8th,
Unless there was a drastic overpopulation of cows and sheeps, which there could have been.
Okay.
It like thinned the herd. You know, it's always. I'm trying to think of other positives. I don't know.
okay.
Having a hard time.
On October 8th, 1764, after a mauling had occurred, the beast was seen at Chateau de la Baume.
De la Baume?
De la Baume.
Okay.
De la bomb.
Yeah. Stalking new prey. Hunters were able to follow it and flush it out into the open. The hunters shot a volley of musket fire, hitting the beast. It fell, but didn't stay still for very long. The beast rose up and ran off into the woods.
Yeah. So about this time now, I wanted to say that the attacks, though, some of them were so savage from this wolf that, and this thing, when it would come out, it would attack people around the head or throat area, but with such brutality that it would decapitate some of the victims.
Yeah.
Decapitation!
So would like just like bite it and just pop the head off?
Yeah, just so...
Yeah.
So everybody in the town was freaking out a bit. Even one priest was telling people, look, this is God's wrath for us losing the 7-year war against Protestant England. So the town is losing their mind. Mm-hmm. So the town leader dude, whatever they're called over there, definitely not the governor.
The mayor?
Yeah, we'll go with there. So he calls in the army, and they send Captain Jean-Baptiste Duhamel. No relation to Josh Duhamel. And he was a veteran of the 7-year war. So in November of 1764, he shows up at Gévaudan, and he starts interviewing everybody, collecting all this information about the attacks, where the attacks happen, because he was, he broke out maps. It was just making points on where the wolf attacks happened. So he was kind of plotting out territory and potential next strike points, just using all his military knowledge. And so he was trying to be super methodical, but he was having no luck. So after 3 months, he couldn't find or get the beast. One moment, he did have his sights on the beast.
Okay.
And then his men... I don't know if one of them farted. Someone made some
That's
noise.
exactly what I was thinking. That he's doing.
I knew. I did that
And the
for
guy
you.
next to him went, and I'm like, oh gosh,
Yep.
the beast was gone.
So the captain had its sights on,
You
on
smelled
the
it. You
beast.
dealt it.
And, of course, they spooked it, and it took off. Of
course.
So the captain was just beside himself. Coming off the loss of the 7-year war, he was just he was frustrated, and he had his one last big idea, and that was to get 20,000 peasants
What?
with sticks.
With rubber bands. What are they going to come after him?
With sticks. So he had his men positioned in a certain area, but he had 20,000 peasants with these sticks, just kind of beating the
Bushwhacking.
trying to push the beast right down into the kill box where his men were waiting. The wolf was so smart; it slipped past through this river to one area that wasn't well protected, past this little town, and they didn't get him. So the captain went to this little town, and he's like, "What happened?" And the people were like, "No, we were out here. We definitely were on our post. We weren't slacking.
Right.
And we shot at it, but the bullets were bouncing off of it. So obviously, you can tell the captain was just beside himself, frustrated. He couldn't get this thing. He was starting to feel really embarrassed and a failure, to the point where he was telling other people and even his superiors, like, Yeah, it's crazy. It's like a supernatural creature. Bullets are bouncing off. So he started making, or maybe not
started
making,
adding to the
he
story.
started adding to the story because he just
screwed the pooch. And
Yeah.
he screwed the beast, and he couldn't tell Superior that.
Well, he wanted so badly to win
Right.
this one and be the hero, and it
Right.
just wasn't happening for him.
He just failed completely. Nice.
Well, to add to that, on January 12th, 1765, 8 children were surprised by the beast. But 10-year-old Jacques Portefax,
Sure.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not sure how to say his
Facts
name,
and Fargan.
led a counterattack with sticks, hitting the creature and driving it off.
8-year-olds did
was an
this?
8-year-old.
Yes, between 8 and 10. I think there was 8 children, and I think that was their ages. But
Did he have like a thyroid problem? Was he really big? Was he a
I
big
don't
10-year-old?
I don't know.
You know,
They didn't
big
give
and
that
muscular
info.
and like ripped and shredded, and the sticks had like points on it and stuff.
So yeah, these children were able to.
You sound like the captain, you know, because you know that the fact that this 8-year-old kid chased off the beast,
Yeah.
that had to
Right.
really mess him up.
Oh yeah,
Because if I was a giant beast looking for a cow
feast.
or a feast of some kind, a couple of 8-year-old kids is not really going to be like, oh, a deterrent. Oh, excuse me, there's 8-year-olds. Oh my
Right.
gosh, no, that's called lunch.
Is that how the wolf talks?
Yeah. He's like, excuse me, it's time for some dinner. Because it has a French accent. I'm just saying, he could have a French accent. You never know. That was my French accent, everybody. Thank you.
Well, we just lost listeners in France.
yeah, I know. So because these kids fought back, the king, he decided to send his royal hunters to find and destroy the beast. There was also a 6,000 livre bounty. Livre. How do you say that?
Libre,
Livre? Okay. Livre bounty for the creature's head.
$6,000.
Right.
Simoleons.
But, yeah.
Clams.
It produced motivation for people to get out there and kill it. Now, I know that there's a couple like notable things. A notable person, actually, Marie Jean Vallée.
Now, Marie Jean Vallée. Now, this I really like this girl's story. This is I was really amazed by this story, and kind of took me down a rabbit hole, which we'll get to. I had an idea
boy.
that I tried to
All
look
right.
at, and I didn't come across anything because you wouldn't just find it on the interwebs. Okay, but
Where would you find it?
oh, you'll get there easy. Don't jump ahead. Don't jump ahead.
boy.
Okay. So, Marie in 1765, Marie Jean Vallée was walking from her home to a nearby farm when she turned around and saw the enormous fangs and claws of the feared beast of hold on,
Gévaudan.
easy. Hold on, the beast of
Gévaudan.
there it is. See, I said it perfect.
I don't like Google's Translate. I'm going to say it from now on.
Should I point at you when I want to say it?
Yes.
Okay. In a sworn testimony that she
I
gave-
asked a person from France how to say it properly.
You did?
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, okay. In a sworn testimony in 1765, Vallée, another person actually recounted her story of this near miss with the beast, which she described as looking like a large, unusual dog. Okay, now I'm thinking if this thing was pulling people's heads off, it's bigger than a large, unusual dog.
Yeah.
Unless the people are like the little people from Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory.
Well, so when dogs,
Well, a lot of them were kids
yeah,
out there
Right.
tending to the flocks.
and a lot of times what dogs do when they attack, they go for the throat and it rips the throat out. But there's no muscle mass then left, so that the head just falls off.
Oh,
It's not-
God.
Decapitation.
But that's not decapitation, though.
well, if the head falls off, if the head is no longer attached to the body, it's
Yeah, if the head's no
technically a
longer attached to the
decapitation.
body, Nash, what do you call that?
I think that the beast would like put his mouth around, like eat the whole head and then pop it off, like you're popping like bobbing for apples when you're pulling an apple out of a thing. You know, you bite it and pull it out. That's what I imagine as a decapitation. Sorry.
Decapitation?
Yeah.
I feel like this is going to come up in a D&D game at some point.
Yeah,
We're
that's
gonna
it.
argue this exact
yeah.
same
We're going.
point.
What is a decapitation?
I'm sure it'll show up in trivia.
Yeah, exactly. So Oh, that's right. I should footnote this. Okay, right. Alicia, don't remember this.
Okay.
There is a story of her near miss with this beast. She described as looking like a large, unusual dog. According to the account, Valet was crossing between branches of a river through a small wooded area when she turned to discover the beast immediately behind her. As it reared up for an attack, the young woman plunged a homemade spear. Now, she was carrying a spear during this time because it was the 1700s.
Because the beast was also running around.
So she was protected. She had a large pole. You know, it had, I don't know if it was like a metal tip or if it was just carved into a tip at the very end. I don't know, but it was pointy.
No, I think it was bladed on the end.
Yeah, I don't know if it was. Yeah, so it could have been bladed. Where she, as the beast reared up and went to strike, she drove the spear into the beast. And really severely injured it. It didn't kill the beast, but it did. It says injured but not dead. The beast raised a paw to the injury, crying out loudly, and then rolled off into the waters of the river. So it was like, oh, ow, you hurt me. Oh, your stick is so pointy. Oh. And then rolled off in the river. And it rolled off into the river. Okay.
That was very dramatic.
Yeah.
You know,
that was a reenactment.
If you don't see the body, they're probably not dead.
Right. Now, the beast was finally slain in 1767, supposedly ending its reign of tenor.
Tenor?
It's vicious. Because it was a singer. It's vicious reign as a tenor.
Get your bass out of here.
Yeah. Your voice is not deep enough.
Well, we don't go too far because I'm sure
I had
its
some
reign
other
of terror is
stuff.
over. Now, that happened where Marie-Jean Valet, you know, a lot of people in France are like Jean.
There's two-part names. Their first names can be,
Yeah, I just meant, like, even it was Captain,
you mean
the captain
have...
was Captain Jean-Baptiste. She's Marie-Jean Valet. I'm just
you saying
noticing
that
a trend.
Most people in French have French names? Is that what you're saying? Is that
I think he's pointing out the commonality of the name.
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah. But didn't the spear that they didn't review, but they like looked at the spear that she had because she had the spear still and it had blood on it.
Yep, they investigated it.
Yeah.
In fact, even Captain Jean Baptiste Duhamel. Yeah, he saw that too. Now imagine this guy. You got that 8-year-old. Now you got Marie-Jean Valet, who was but a teenager, right?
Yeah, she was a kid.
And they're all having better
20.
luck at getting the wolf than him. And again, I told you how desperate he was, but he resorted to being gimmicky now to try to catch the wolf. He was leaving poisoned meat out. Didn't work.
Geez.
He was using dead people as bait. Didn't work.
Oh my God.
He even made his soldiers dress up as women, thinking that would lure the beast out.
I think it was luring something else out.
Oh boy.
Because then that was about the end of this captain trying to capture the beast. I think everybody was fed up with him and his failures.
I did like how after Marie Jean's attack or that she her defense that she had, that they labeled her in the newspaper as an Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I think that was just like, heck yeah.
They built a statue.
Yeah,
They built a
there's
statue. Yeah.
There's no statue of Captain Jean-Baptiste.
No.
She got one.
She got a statue fighting off the beast. But that's where my rabbit hole started, was like, okay, well, maybe this was the spurring of maybe like a lady assassin kind of a sect that could be out there protecting the communities. Is there something like that in France? I didn't find anything, so it was just an idea. I thought it was a groovy idea. I don't know.
And that's why it cannot be found on the internet.
That's why it couldn't be found. Not
It can
that it's
only be
not there.
found in Nash's head.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And nobody's jacking into that brain.
No.
What?
Like,
what did you say?
Plugging in.
boy.
Plugging in.
I did
Wow.
not use that phrase, Mark.
No, there was like a movie.
I don't even think I get to do
There
that.
definitely was a movie, I think even with Keanu Reeves, where they talked about how jacking into.
Yeah.
So, but whatever.
Oh, boy.
Nash wants to take it to the
Right.
And what was the name of that movie?
Jacker?
No.
Tracker?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Johnny Mnemonic.
Oh, yes.
Hello. Oh my gosh.
All right. Let's move on.
Oh, yeah, because it was such a hit.
I loved it. I enjoyed it. He's like, this was a $500 Italian shirt. I can do quotes from that movie.
You're like, I could quote Johnny Mnemonic, but I hate The Last Crusade.
Right.
Wow. You learn something every day, everybody.
You learn something every day.
But
Not necessarily something you wanted to learn.
right. But to avoid any more eye rolls, Alicia,
Thank you.
get us back on track.
So on September 20th, 1765, the king's gun bearer, Francois Antoine. Wow.
Francois.
Okay.
Antoine.
Thank you. Listen, I'm sorry, guys. I don't speak
You're
French.
doing great.
okay.
You're
Yeah,
doing great.
you're fine.
doing great.
Francois.
Frank Anthony.
Frank.
Okay. And his nephew shot a fairly large wolf near an abbey. It was assumed to
It was
be...
just a lady named Abby.
No, it was an abbey, and I didn't put the whole name of it because I was like, wow, that's
It's a heck of a
mouthful.
name.
Yeah. It was assumed to be the beast, and Antoine...
That's
Frank.
good. Good enough.
Frank.
Okay. Was rewarded with money and titles, and the beast was stuffed and sent to the royal court. Unfortunately, attacks started again in December.
Yeah, it wasn't.
So
a
it
beast.
didn't last very long. But the behavior of the beast actually seemed different. For instance, it was no longer afraid of cattle or sticks, like people with sticks. So, yeah.
The beast afraid of sticks walking through the board, be like,
Well, I mean, those kids,
and then be like, oh, it's a stick on
I
the
can see
ground.
the beast of therapy. Like, yeah, man, sticks.
They really freak me out.
Yeah.
So, beast, tell me about your mother.
But, I mean, those kids, they beat it off with sticks. So,
No, they didn't. This is a family show. Listen.
The fact that we're laughing like this just shows how juvenile we can be.
Oh my God.
I am sorry, everybody. I'm blaming it mostly on Nash.
Yep.
You laugh at the same time, you SOB. So what did they
Anyway.
do?
I'm
They
not
warded
even...
it away.
No.
They warded it away with
Yes,
sticks.
with
Okay,
sticks. Okay. Anyway, so...
that's a rough one. Dun-dun-dun.
Anyway, so the attack started again. Okay, and I'm just gonna beat past that.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Okay, the
Quality entertainment, everyone. But only for us, I'm assuming.
All right. Stop. The royal court, they chose to ignore these new attacks, still holding fast to the belief that Antoine had killed it. A sudden outbreak in June 1767 drove a local nobleman to organize a hunt. On June 19th, one of the hunters, a local man named Jean Chastel, shot a wolf on the
Of course
slopes.
it's Jean.
Yeah. Shot a wolf on the slopes of Mount Mouchet.
Some mountain.
An autopsy of the animal revealed human remains inside, and apparently it had non-wolf characteristics. The attacks ended, but doubts remained. Now, the beast was consistently described by eyewitness people.
Eyewitness people?
I'm sorry, we're a little late to that one.
Wow.
It took me a second to get onto that one too.
Sorry.
By them eyewitness people. It's
I
in
swear to God,
France.
I'm not even drinking, guys.
We are.
Okay, I'm going to start that one over. The beast was consistently described by eyewitnesses as something more than a typical wolf. It was as large as a calf or sometimes a horse. Its coat was reddish gray with a long panther-like tail. The head and legs were short-haired, and it had a black stripe on its back. Mm-hmm. And also what looked like talons on its feet. So at that time, many of the drawings of the beast actually...
Chickens have large talons?
Oh, boy. At that time, many of the drawings of the beast showed it with lupine characteristics, so werewolf. Witnesses described the beast as an ambush hunter, where it stalked its prey, then seized it by the throat, which you mentioned already. Most wounds found were typically to the head and limbs, and 16 victims were reportedly decapitated.
Decapitation!
Yep.
So was it a giant wolf or was it a werewolf?
Well, that's the thing. Historians, scientists, and conspiracy theorists have all proposed different theories about what the beast was. Those theories include: could it be an extinct prehistoric creature like a bear dog or dire wolf?
A bear dog.
I know. I was like, what is a bear dog?
Sounds like something you come across in
Bear
D&D.
dog.
Right?
A bear dog. That would be awesome. What?
Right. I know.
Now we have seen. Now we've talked about it before. There's some images of bears who have no fur, that have mange.
Right.
These bears, and they look like giant bear dogs, for lack of a better phrase. So I mean, it could be something like that, where it was a bear without any
Right.
fur that had mange. So that could be it.
Yeah.
I think that I like the second explanation.
I know. Dire wolf.
Dire wolf.
Some think that it was an armored war dog.
What does that mean?
I don't know, which explains its strange appearance and why it kind of shrugged off the musket shots.
Yeah, but how is a dog out there making armor?
No, so during World War One, correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, but I thought they armored dogs in World War One.
Right. And I'm sure in other conflicts where they used
Yeah,
Right,
they were
right.
fast, and they could give it a specific thing or tie a. It's an atrocity, but tie some kind of an explosive to the dog and send it to go get something or go in and infiltrate and do some damage.
Yeah. So in this case, if maybe during the 7-Year War or whatever, the they had their dog legion, and it one or more escaped,
Right.
and, ran away, still armored, and was living that way.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be any. I guess it wouldn't be any larger than a regular dog, because these things were pretty good size. But yeah, I would definitely think that they would armor dogs, because war is such a terrible thing, and
Right.
anything you could do to get ahead, I could envision them doing something like that.
Right.
Now, could it be a striped hyena?
Probably not.
Or
Yeah, just throw that one out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, no.
or an immature male lion?
Nah.
Nah.
Throw that one out the window.
Some have.
Let's get back to the armored dog.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, or bear dog. One of those two.
Well, quick fun fact on bear dog: bear dogs are actually
Who's driving? Bear dog driving.
extinct. They existed 8 million years ago.
Okay.
So they're like really, really old in terms of history, and went extinct. But otherwise, as we've talked about other possible dinosaurs that have lived, this isn't a dinosaur, but ancient creature that continues on, then it could be a bear dog.
Bear dog.
So some have theorized that it was actually a human. A human serial killer. Yeah.
He did not like cereal.
Right. Okay. That some of the victims were decapitated leads some to believe
How
this.
long you been thinking of that joke?
I think of it anytime anybody ever says a serial killer, I'm just thinking like Cocoa Puffs, and he's like taking a knife to Cocoa Puffs.
And they also theorized that the killer was using an animal to carry out the crimes as well, like to help them.
He had an armored dog.
Like
Yeah.
they're like the Hulk dogs in the first Hulk movie.
Tony,
Right.
that was a terrible movie.
But they're like giant dogs that he would send out to do the dirty work, and they would come back. But they were giant,
Yeah.
super giant dogs.
So as
They're
far
Hulk
as
The movies
the,
you were fond of.
I didn't say I was fond of that. I just said it was like Hulk dogs, because he had fast Hulk legs. I didn't really appreciate that either. Like Roadrunner legs.
Oh, I'm sorry, Alicia, we interrupted.
Yeah. Anyway,
as far as this serial killer theory, there was a lot of
Count Chocula.
All right.
Sorry,
Yeah.
they're killing cereal.
I'm pretty sure we're witnessing the next serial killer.
Started. This is how when they do the
not cereal. This is a lone single murder.
when a true crime podcast does the backstory, the origin story. This is the moment.
Right? Yeah.
So many question how Jean Chastel, the man that killed the second beast, how he was able to kill it versus some of the best wolf hunters that were out there. They couldn't do it.
He had sticks.
Wait, because
Some
he
believe that
was.
yes, and he was actually trying to cover up
Ooh.
his murders.
Like Dexter.
Yeah, so some
But
suggest
not at all like Dexter. Yeah.
I didn't see the show, so I don't really know the details. But
Oh my god.
Did you just clench your fist?
I did.
left cross.
Yeah. As for motive, some have suggested that, yes, him or one of his sons were the killer. There are also claims that one of Chastel's son owned a hyena, as well as a huge red mastiff. And they believe that maybe it sired the
two got
beast.
together.
Yeah, with a wolf. Yeah, a female wolf.
So maybe the hyena mastiff, they did something because they were in the same household,
Right.
and then there was a wolf. And I still like the dire wolf idea a little bit better.
Well, yeah, it was just it was a weird thing that I came across, and I was like, they think it might have been a serial killer. It was actually killing all these people.
Yeah, I mean, I could very well see that it was this guy actually covering up his own.
Right. So, yeah, was it just a wolf? Or like a pack of wolves?
Nah.
I guess let's see, between the 17th century and 19th century, there were 9,000 wolf attacks in France alone.
Wow.
Okay.
That's a lot.
Yeah, but most of them were like, I think they were rabid animals. So,
Just like that fox.
yeah.
That was
so,
down at the Capitol. Yeah, right.
right. So, all the people that survived the attacks, none of them came down with rabies. So that is kind of thrown out or whatever.
Right.
And then last possible theory, it was a werewolf.
That's what I think it is.
Yeah.
Now, what were those dates again that you just mentioned?
I thought you just said you thought it was the dire wolf.
No, I like that. I like that theory the best because I like the idea of super giant wolves that you could potentially ride on, like Princess Mononoke. She did that in that anime.
Mononoke.
Yeah, it's a great anime. It's one of my favorites.
I know.
Yeah,
I've seen it.
it's a wonderful
good.
one.
Oh, you guys connected on
I
something.
know.
It's about time.
Hearts.
Yeah. He's lucky.
You're like, well, but what were those dates that you just threw out there? Just
The 17th century and 19th century.
because France did have a werewolf epidemic.
Yes, they did.
But it was like in the 1520s to 1630s, where it was their version of like the witch trials,
Right.
where supposedly, I guess, like upwards of like 30,000 people were killed or for potentially being werewolves.
Yeah.
So, I mean, werewolves was definitely that was on their mind back in the day.
Yeah.
I didn't venture out to see about like witchcraft because we had like the Salem witch trials, but to have something so focused on werewolves, and I don't know if they had something like that for witches or not.
Right.
I don't know, but that's a hyper focus on werewolves. So I actually think that I lend more towards it's a werewolf, and this was this guy
Right.
who is a werewolf covering up his own tracks.
Oh, it could be.
And his
Yeah.
kids, he was making the wolfen babies. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the fact that they were shooting at the wolves and they were not going down.
Well,
There's
the funny
that.
thing about a musket is the accuracy is.
is it bad?
Oh, it's super bad.
Yeah.
So when they're like, it's not a mystery that they didn't bring the wolf down right away, because I mean, you got to like put in the shot, the powder packet, and it was not like a rifle barrel. I mean, this thing probably you're lucky if you can hit the broadside of a barn.
Right.
And the musket shots, they're perfectly round. They're balls. They're not like bullets as they are now. They're not conical like they are now.
Right.
So if it was something that if they did hit, I don't know, maybe some hide or something like that, would at a certain range, that musket shot is going to bounce off.
Right.
It loses velocity over a certain distance and accuracy. So I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. Well, thank you. It's a table full of love today.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
There was also a rumor that Jean Chastel shot the beast with a silver bullet, which is also why everybody was leaning towards werewolf. But
Right.
But this,
I'm leaning towards werewolf.
now the
Makes
werewolf
for a good story.
epidemic, it kind of started actually with it was like a Nordic thing that came over.
Oh.
So it's here in my notes somewhere, so I got to find it quickly while we're all kind of looking.
No, we're just gonna wait and just keep recording while you look at your notes.
Right.
Here I was ready to segue into a commercial break, but no, Nash pulls paper out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And calls it his notes.
Yeah. So back in the day, they used to get a lot of Vikings coming over and whatnot, and there was coming over, having good
We're having the Vikings
times.
for dinner tonight.
The Vikings are coming over.
great.
Let them in. They're here. They just want a dinner. But there were
Sure they're
stories.
safe.
Yeah, they're fine. The Vikings that came over used to have stories of people changing into wolves. Right, say Normandy then and now. Now this was in blue and hyperlink, so there's a story involved with that, but I did not follow that to find out what it is. And the Vikings brought these stories with them to Normandy. Wait, what?
You're the best researcher.
I know.
I'm the best. Yeah. Anyway, so that but definitely. There's
Abandoned ship.
yeah. So part of that story, the fuel to the fire, was the Vikings saying that this happened over there, and they brought it to France. Yeah, I'm really not good at this. This is why, Alicia, you do so well with notes and
Good story, bro.
information. Yeah,
Good story.
Done. Yes, nailed it.
All right. There you go. The Beast of Gévaudan. Or Gévaudan.
What's it called again, Dave? Did you save that on your phone?
Mark's got it right.
Oh, come on.
Yeah,
Gévaudan.
take that. All right. Well, why don't we take a quick break? We'll come back. We have 2 listener stories, paranormal stories to discuss. And maybe we'll tell you about our trip to Fan Expo Philadelphia to boot. And we're back. All right, Dave, did you have a fun fact that we skipped over?
I mean, not really, sort of, whatever. So the Gévaudan was, did I say that right?
Yeah, sounds great.
That was a former province. It's no longer in existence. During the French Revolution, they basically got rid of all of it and started everything over. So what this area was no longer exists, and now it's all built up into different counties and departments, apparently.
Okay.
So you didn't have a fun fact.
Well, it was...
More of a governmental, regional
Right.
geography fact.
It fit
Yeah.
in another conversation we didn't go into. So
I have a not so fun fact.
Ooh.
I put on my paper. Between 1764 and 1767, more than 100 wolves were killed in Gévaudan.
Oh,
I know.
poor puppy dogs.
I know.
That means
But there was also a wolf pandemic. Not pandemic. It was
Epidemic?
like epidemic, going on there. So
Yeah, but that probably led to the overpopulation of
Yeah.
chicken and sheep and cows. No,
Did you look that up?
No predators. No, but it's a standard predator prey kind of a thing. You know, they weren't pouncing on the chickens and eating the cows and the sheep because there was no wolves.
Because there was
around.
no one else around to eat the chickens and the
Yeah,
cattle.
well, there's no other predators like that. I mean, did they have? I don't know if they
There
had.
was
a lot
no
of
other
bears.
predators for the chickens and the cows?
I don't know. Did they have other things eating them? They probably had foxes.
I would assume.
well,
Humans?
That wouldn't change the rate of reduction.
well, as populations get bigger, then
Yeah,
we eat more chickens and cows.
that's
and-
true. That's true. But the then you got to look at how fast people die off in that time.
right.
Don't forget about land sharks.
Land sharks with lasers.
You know,
All right, we'll put a nail in that coffin and move on.
well, one thing I did want to say is...
Oh, I guess we're not.
No. The way this story lays out, the way, all the different things into this is like a Hollywood blockbuster already packaged. With having the hunters and the captain come in and try hard but not get it, and then is it the guy a werewolf or not, and how did he figure it out? It's like it's already a mystery.
And his one source in life
one source, yeah.
was the one source of enjoyment in life was when the 20,000 villagers surrounded him and beat him off with sticks.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways, it'd be interesting
not-
if
nope, we're
someone
not
just
laughing.
took this whole event period and put it into a Hollywood format and made a movie out of it.
Well, there was a TV show on MTV called Teen Wolf, and season 5, episode 18, they did The Maid of Gévaudan.
Yep.
But that's just one episode. I'm talking like a full feature length movie.
They could
Maybe
really
Hollywood's like, we're just going to give it a one app. on Teen
Right.
Wolf.
Yeah.
What was that?
Wow, that can you smack your lips any louder?
What was the werewolf movie that had?
Come on, Nash.
Oh my god!
Come on.
Here we go. It was a. Oh my gosh! The guy from Usual Suspects who had an accent in Usual Suspects. Come on now, come with me on this one. Having a hard time.
Are you talking about
Fencer? Not Fencer.
Benicio del Toro?
Thank you.
As the Wolfman?
He was the wolf. He had a father. Was it a Wolfman? Is that what it was?
I think it was Wolfman.
Man, of all the werewolf movies you could bring up, that's the one?
Because in that one, they actually had the guy's dad.
Might as well bring up Wolf with Jack Nicholson if you want to compare.
No. Because this happened in that story happened in Europe, and it was a father down to the son, a werewolf passing the torch from the father to the son. If you remember at the very end, there was a face-off between the two. So I imagine that the father could have been a reenactment of this dude who was the werewolf guy covering up his own murders.
Okay.
Dave, favorite werewolf movie?
Wow, he just cut him off like that. He had a really good idea. You just shut him down.
Oh, no, I was just going to say I apologize for continuing the conversation.
That's why you got to go first.
Right. Favorite werewolf movie? I don't know. I know a lot of them. I've seen a lot of them. None of them are, I would call a favorite. I mean, maybe.
See, that's the kind of answer I'd expected. You didn't want to just...
Yeah, like
I have a favorite.
Underworld, but Silver Bullet was
That's a great
movie.
one. All right.
Great
all right.
movie. Great movie.
Thought you were trying to dodge a bullet.
No,
And not give an answer.
I just didn't.
But Silver Bullet's a great one.
Werewolves aren't typically my thing. I don't, really.
Nash?
Teen Wolf 2.
Okay, I knew.
God.
Of course you said Teen Wolf 2.
Mm-hmm.
With a historic documentary almost where Jason Bateman as a werewolf in the boxing ring.
How stupid of a sequel was that?
It was
The Teen Wolf with Michael J. Fox, fun movie.
Yep.
But then the second one, yeah. Lish, do you have one?
Wolf Cop.
Oh,
Oh yeah, you know what? That's a good one. That is a good one.
Wolf Cop, which could have been my answer, but I'd stick with
Wolf
American Werewolf in London.
That's all right.
I also like that.
The transformation scene was fantastic, though.
The transformation scene of Wolf Cop
Was
fantastic.
equally as good. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, now we're going to move on. Okay, we good?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, just making sure.
Werewolf.
I thought I was going to
If you were
have a
gonna
whole
be-
movie
would
debate
you-
with you because you said American Werewolf in London is okay.
No, I like it. It was a little before my time, but the transformation scene is fantastic.
No, it was not a little before your time.
It was. It was a little before my time. It was one of my wife's.
Came out in
favorite
the
movies.
80s.
Yeah, well, I was like 5 or 6.
Oh, you were not.
I wasn't 20 like you.
I wasn't.
Would you rather be a werewolf?
This whole episode can be used as evidence in court at some point. I'm telling you.
It's just killing me. Would you rather be a werewolf or a vampire? I think we've asked.
We
this
already,
before.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah. What was everybody's answers? Would it change?
I'd rather be a vampire.
No, I'll stick with vampire.
I think I'd go werewolf.
Pretty sure that's what you said last
Pretty
time.
sure it's the exact same answers.
Yeah.
You brought nothing new to the table.
Yeah, Alicia.
I can't remember what I said.
You probably
But-
told us to shut up.
A vampire, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Looks like you work for us, bruh.
That's okay. That's all right. I live a mortal life. I have a relatively normal. I just every once in a while I get a little hairy, but whatever.
Okay.
Look for sheep and look for ladies with sticks.
Dave, you got something else?
There was listener stories I thought we were going to talk about.
Yes. We're going to get to
There was more to this.
We have a few listener paranormal stories that we're going to get to, and none of them involve a wolf.
Okay.
All right, so the first one is from Brody. Brody says, so a few weeks ago, I sat down on the couch and felt something poke me on my shoulder blade 3 times. I jumped out of my skin, but then I assumed it was one of the cats that kind of crawled up in the couch and was just messing around, so I brushed it off. Until last night. I lay down in bed next to my girlfriend, and I felt like she had her hand under the pillow, poking my head through the pillow 3 times. I ignored it, assuming she was messing around. A few minutes went by, and I felt it again 3 times. So I turned to her and said, "Are you having fun?" And she gave me this blank stare and asked what I was talking about. So I said, "Show me your hands." Her hands were nowhere near the pillow.
Oh, God.
And these weren't like small little pressure pokes. It literally felt like somebody's hand under the pillow pushing up. And believe me, I checked. There was nothing under the pillow that could have done this. Freaked him out.
That's freaky. Yeah, it freaked me out too. I wonder, was he? Well, he was. They weren't. They were in bed, but they weren't like asleep or something. Is that what it is? They were just kind of hanging out, just relaxing and getting. ready to go to
He
sleep?
just got in bed. And the other time was he was watching TV.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So 3 times. Why do I feel like in the movie The Conjuring, like the 3
Isn't that the magic number?
Is the devil making fun of? I could have that all wrong.
I don't know. I feel like 3s are the.
Oh,
magic.
he's he in The Conjuring. I think it was like slamming something 3 times, mocking the Holy Trinity.
Yeah, yeah.
So not to put anything in your head, Brody. So just ignore what I just said about that.
Wow, that would kind of freak you out. As you're trying to go to sleep, getting poked in the head a couple of times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I would have a hard time going to sleep at that point.
Yeah.
There's a fly in the clubhouse, and it is hitting everybody in the face.
Yeah. At least 2 to 3 times.
What happens when you leave the door open while you're recording?
Yeah.
It's going from each one of us. My gosh, it's a werewolf.
Werefly.
Get him, Nash. Okay. Did you capture it and then let it go?
I'm a true sportsman. I catch and release.
Oh my god.
You're supposed to shake it up and throw it on the ground.
No, I would have taken
Stuns him.
I should have taken it outside, but I didn't know for sure, so I figured I'd show you that I caught it. Ninja skills.
Yeah, but now it's still...
It knows it's not around us now. Now it knows. It says, "Oh, it's much respect." I'm just saying.
You were just the worst.
Well, okay.
All right. We have another story we heard from Light. Hey, I love the show and have listened to it for a while now. I've even tried to get a few friends into it. Tried?
Was that you have attempted and failed, or you're?
But that's not why I'm leaving the message. I just want to talk about Victoria, British Columbia, and Canada, and Harrow Woods Park. Now, I've not been able to find info, but I do know what I've seen. Me and my few friends went there late at night and used a pendulum after feeling like we were being watched. We asked it to show us yes and no. A straight line with the pendulum for yes, a circle for no. It showed us both, and it was swinging more than I've ever seen before. And my friend's hand was still like a surgeon's hand. We asked if something was there with us, and it said yes. We were feeling worried, so we asked if we were safe, and it said no. I was quite scared at this point, so we asked if we should leave, and it immediately said yes. We packed up our things, retraced our exact steps as we could see our footprints, but it brought us even deeper into the woods. Finally, after about an hour, we found what looked like a housing development and a large section of cut-down trees, so we followed the fence and made it to the road. And we all headed back home feeling incredibly scared, not knowing what we talked to. I drive past that woods all the time, and I feel like something is watching me from within the depths of that forest. I dare not go back, and even as I write this, I get goosebumps. Strangely, I feel like the forest is calling to me. My friends and I are too scared to go back in. Luckily, I was never affected, but my best friend who used a pendulum ended up experiencing some strange things afterwards. The largest was figures in his mirror and things getting moved around in his room. I highly recommend looking into Victoria. There's a lot of haunted places here and even a Catholic school where the builder turned out to be a killer who put the bodies in the foundation.
Oh.
Jeez. Where else would you put them?
We also went there to use a pendulum, but sadly came back with nothing. Thank you so much for the awesome podcast. It scared the bleep out of us sometimes, but I love it.
Aw.
So, listening to this story, I think I'm going to start at kind of towards the beginning anyway, and go, okay, so there's a lot of bad, wrong things in this. The idea of any of us going to take a pendulum into the forest to do this, if the idea crosses your mind, just say no and go away. Just don't go there, leave it for somebody else. Because the idea of saying a yes or no and confirming something that's there, oh my God, forget it. I'm out.
What I found interesting, though, is when they were retracing their steps.
Right.
And they could still see their footprints, for they were, assuming they would bring them back out. And I got a sense of Blair Witch out of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Where they ended up just going in circles or even deeper into the woods. So that's pretty freaky.
And then something following them out and affecting the young lady who had the pendulum? No way.
Yeah.
So sorry.
Yeah. But yes, it's on the list. We'll look up some stuff in Victoria, British Columbia.
Good fishing up there.
Yeah, and thank you for sharing. Brody, Light, thank you so much for sharing your paranormal experiences with us.
Yeah.
If you would like to share something that happened to you, just go to paranormalpunchers.com. You'll find all the ways to contact us. Thank you. All right. To wrap up the show, we're going to tell you a little bit about our Fan Expo live event and all the shenanigans that came with it. Dave, why don't you take over?
Okay.
On the spot, Dave,
Right.
and to you.
Well, I just felt like you
Not knowing this is going to happen, Dave.
Right. Are we talking about the entire trip or just us doing the
I think we got to tell a good chunk of the trip because it was interesting to say the least.
Yeah. Well, due to the activities after the podcasting, I don't remember most of the things before.
I put you on the spot, bro.
Right, yeah.
I mean, you're a podcaster, but I put you on the spot.
Right. But no, it was a great time. We had a great trip. Took the train, coming down and then meeting up with Nash and prepping. We had a good quick prep session. Had some drinks. Went over to the convention center, and we weren't sure what to expect. Yeah, we did it. Let's definitely check it off the bucket list there.
Yeah. We got up on stage, did our show.
Yeah,
Maybe we'll get invited back.
I'm hoping so. I'm
we'll
looking
see.
forward to it.
Maybe,
Yeah.
yeah.
I thought we crushed it. I mean, it was short. We were moving fast, but we've never done a live show. We didn't know what to expect. And now I could have definitely, one of my ideas was do a little trivia and give some, give away some Bigfoot Ridge comic books and Paranormal Punchers comic books.
Right.
I guess now that we were there and realized we could have done that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, but keep in mind, we only had a half an hour for the show. So we had to kind of keep it tight. And that was the first time we'd ever did it. So if we knowing that we could do a subject and then do a Q&A kind of a thing and maybe do some giveaways, that would be a great idea.
Yeah, we did a little Q&A afterwards. A couple people came up and had a few questions. The one dude was actually was in New Orleans, did a ghost trip in the Laurie Mansion, was on it. The other dude was asking us about ghosts in the machine, which we had no good answer.
Right.
Yeah.
It was a super fun time. And so, as you would expect, as soon as we're done with the show, we figured we should celebrate. And we head out.
Well, let me interrupt before let me hit pause, because that subject that we did, I do feel like we could have done a solid hour on that subject.
Yeah, we probably could have.
Yeah, because it was a fun subject, and I think that we all were on
we
our...
could have did more about Nick Cage.
I was going to say, I feel like we forgot to talk about caging.
Yeah, we forgot to talk about caging.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there was a bunch that we could have done more.
I think not the only thing to improve for next time is I think we were all somewhat nervous and everything. We missed out on banter opportunities.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there was very little banter because we were so...
There was no banter going on in my head.
Right.
I was reading on my paper and then looking down.
Yeah, we were so focused on the time that I think that if next time, if we had like a solid hour, or at least 45 minutes, that we could have been a little
We
bit
did.
more
We had
relaxed.
30 to 45. 45 is the max. They were like, be done
Yeah.
within 45. But
It was good. It was tight though, but I agree. I think that we could have bantered a little bit more, do what we normally like to do,
Especially with Cage.
Yeah. Oh, there's
Right.
so much there.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, but again, you don't know what to expect when you're doing a live show.
So
when
caging.
you've never done a live show. Yeah, caging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds wrong, but it's not. It's when people will like print out a bunch of pictures of Nick Cage and hang them up everywhere. There's been concerts where then people just start hanging up signs in the crowd of Nick Cage. It's a bit of a phenomenon. Oh, like if you you head out to lunch and your buddies get in your computer and change your wallpaper
Right.
to Nick Cage.
Right.
So this is all cagey.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So it would have been fun to mention that, but,
Yeah.
you know, Lish was pushing her notes to me because I said, I want to talk about caging.
Right.
But I saw the time again,
Right.
tracking the time. And I was like, all right, let me find that one listener story, which fits in with pop culture because it was about
Right.
Pete and Pete DVD kept
Yeah.
being pulled out by some unknown mysterious force.
Right.
So with all that and me trying to do, just use my phone, I completely missed that. But it still was a wonderful
It was
experience.
still a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Audience was great.
Yep.
Yeah, audience was great.
Yeah.
I had a blast. Yeah.
And then afterwards, we all went out and enjoyed the evening because we had such a fun time.
Yeah.
And-
We had too much fun, I think.
Yeah. Well, the first place, like Nash stuck around to walk around the floor a little bit. For some reason, Dave and I were hell bent on getting out there and getting a celebratory drink.
Yeah.
Because they had inside the convention center, they had what they were calling a beer garden.
Right.
It was not.
Right.
No.
And there was they had some kind of games you would play like at a beer garden, like giant Jenga, things like that. But it was packed with kids playing all these
I
games.
know. Yeah.
And then when I looked at their selection in the beer garden, White Claw, which already is like, you're not a beer garden.
Right.
Stop. They had White Claws.
Bud Light, Miller Lite.
Bud Light, Miller Lite. Their biggest craft beer, I think, was Goose Island,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
now owned by InBev, so it's not really
Yeah.
craft beer. So we're
And not even to really, beer snob it, but it was a very, very limited selection.
I was going to say there was not much.
no, and craft. There wasn't much what you would call craft.
Right. Which is weird, but our first stop was Chili's. But we've been there in the past to the Philadelphia Comic Con, and Chili's was a cool spot to stop in.
It's got a great
Get a
location. It's
beer.
right on the corner
Yeah,
there.
it's
Yeah.
right up the street. It was. I think we got there midway through happy hour, and people were having happy hour.
Yeah.
People were
Strong.
hammered.
Was it a strong happy hour downtown?
They were hammered, loud. The one guy was bouncing around. I don't know. He definitely wasn't walking straight, but he was wicked loud. But then the bartender took a half hour to go find that Stone IPA we
Right.
wanted.
Yeah.
I don't know where he went.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was a terrible experience. We left. The Hard Rock was packed. Then we just kind of gave up, went to the hotel bar, which is called the Cirque Bar,
Yep.
Yeah.
which was great. And then Dave proceeded to open a tab, and
Well,
then we ran up bourbon and whiskey.
Yeah, I was going to say
and-
you guys found whiskey, and
Yeah.
you found some tasty whiskey.
Oh yeah.
Some drinks that are on there that.
Oh, yeah. I feel like, Dave, you were like, no, I got it. Put it on my tab. You wanted to do this, not knowing where the evening would go. And
Right.
it went into a mighty, gigantic tab.
It's all good.
Yeah, we're taking second mortgages on our house to pay it back.
Well, no, I mean, I was drinking Bullet
Yep.
the whole time. And then the next morning, I definitely felt like I drank whiskey,
Yeah.
bourbon,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the whole night.
You weren't just drinking Bullet.
That's right, we had.
We had many other things. I was randomly picking things. Hey, we should try this. Hey, we should try this.
And I kept saying yes.
Yep. We had some
What's wrong
Angel's
with me?
Envy. We had.
What was that whiskey?
I can't remember the name of it.
it was so smoky.
Oh, the
that
one that was
that's
all
what
peaty?
Yeah, that's what I started off with, Lafrogue Scotch. But no one else was taking me up on that.
It smelled great.
Yeah.
It smelled like a
did and
campfire.
It didn't. Yeah, but it was so heavy. It was just permeating the entire air around me.
Yeah, as soon as it was served in your glass, it was like, oh, Dave's drinking it. He's drinking
Yeah.
again.
I love that.
And then I had to. At one point, I asked you where the bathroom was, and you're like, you just pointed, like, yeah, it's over there. I spent like 10 minutes wandering around the hotel. I couldn't find it.
It's like Mission Impossible to get to the
And I
bathroom.
finally had to ask security, which I was like, this may be a bad idea to walk up to security in my state.
yeah.
But fortunately, then he was like, yeah, it's right there. And I was like, oh, my God. I literally could have got on the elevator, went up to our room, and came back down in less time than me. I'm just walking around because it was called the Cirque Bar because it's a circle.
Yeah.
Right in the middle. And I'm pretty sure I was just going in circles trying to find, trying to open any door that would lead to a bathroom.
Nice. Well, and when
I think I blamed it on Dave too. Like, great directions, bro.
Right.
Well, and when I finally went, I realized the real issue with going to the restroom is that there was 2 doors and you had to like passcode in.
Yeah, you needed your key card.
And everybody was keying the door and then going to the emergency exit fire door and pulling on it because that's where the key card reader was, and not the door adjacent, which was the one that actually opened. So people were pulling on the wrong door, going, "Why isn't this working? Why isn't this working?" And key coding it. So I just went up and I didn't even need it on mine. Some guy key coded and was pulling on the wrong door, and I pulled on this other door, and I'm like, "Oh, it's right here."
But we met some great people.
Yeah.
That time I was met some other podcasters. One Michael Dolce that was doing a show the next day, which we came and supported him and watched his show.
Founder of the base,
No,
Dolce Base,
no,
underground aliens.
it's not him.
Okay, grandson maybe. I don't know.
Which is also, since I spent a lot of time talking with him and it was really loud. I think we were also close talking because it was so loud. Mm-hmm. That's why. That's who I. Hey, Michael, I think you gave me a cold.
Yeah.
And of all the people that got a cold on this trip, I can't believe I was the only one.
I know.
I'm usually impervious
Right.
to illness of any kind.
Yeah,
Dave always finds a way to get sick.
Yeah, in the
Yeah.
past 6 months, though, I've had absolutely everything possible.
Oh,
for
so
a
you already
human
had
body.
it, probably.
So yeah.
Okay. And I took a COVID test, just out of like, oh my God, what if it is? But no, it was just the common freaking cold.
Yep.
And I was said, like, you know what? I could do another 2 years without getting this.
I know.
That's because we were all drinking so much and having such a great time that you didn't realize that you were drinking and talking and your faces were actually about 2 inches apart from one another because it was so loud.
Was he that
you
close?
were
It was
right
loud.
on it.
It was loud.
Yeah, it
in
was
there.
really loud.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
was he that close?
You were like, "So Michael, how are you doing? All right, okay, yeah. Tell me about your podcast,
So I was like, hey, can whoever bought your podcast, can you pitch him our podcast?
Yeah, exactly.
We would like to be bought by a company.
Right.
But so Saturday morning, you can only imagine how we all felt. It was rough. And the convention floor was packed.
It was
Man,
packed.
it was insane.
It was
I don't know
so-
if I've ever seen it that packed.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
but this was the first convention since everything opened
Yes.
I
back
know.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It was crazy.
everybody came out, and there was a
Yep.
ton of cosplayers. Didn't you guys see Kevin Smith on Saturday?
Yes, we
Yes,
went to
we
see
did.
Kevin Smith
Nice.
and Jay. It was the Jay and Silent Bob show. And it was something I have been thinking, talking, dreaming about for 10 years. I was like, if he comes around, because a lot of times he'll be over at Red Bank, New Jersey,
We should go to
on like
Red
a
Bank.
Thursday. I'm like, I can't take off of work to drive 3+ hours.
Right.
But one of these days, and we were there at the Fan Expo. He was there. He was doing his live show. And even that Mike, who I was talking to Friday, he's like, oh, I've been to the shows. It's cool. He's like, you never been? He's like, I was like, no, man. He said, then you should go.
Yeah.
You should do it. You have to, we were talking about how much, we like Kevin Smith and how much he was an influence on things we've done. So it was great. In fact, when we were there, Trevor Furman, who was in Clerks 2, he was Elijah
Yeah.
Okay.
with the whole Lister Fiend. But he came in and sat behind us. And he had like a whole entourage.
I know.
And they were just back there, they were just talking away, and they pointed. I'm like, man, this guy's getting a little bit annoying back there. But as soon as Kevin came out, he stopped. They all stopped and watched the show, and then left halfway through it.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure they got free tickets. But so that was interesting. I was like, I'm not gonna. I looked back and gave a head shake, but I was like, I'm not gonna get up and go back and like, hey, bro, can I get my photo with you? It just seemed like he was there with his friends to
Right.
have a fun time. But yeah, it was worth it. They read scripts kind of like we do on our Patreon.
So they stole our idea?
Maybe. He read a comic book script that he wrote. Him and Jay did it and acted it out. And I was like, well, that's what we do on Dead Scripts Rise from the Grave on our Patreon.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stole our idea.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep. But yeah, other than that, it was a great time. And I actually want to do it again. And I'll definitely make sure to stay in touch with the people from the Fan Expo make sure we get press passes. Well, Alicia and I had press passes, so we could do whatever we wanted.
We got
you
like,
guys had.
we got like schlub passes. We got like the other guys support staff.
It still worked out.
It still
for me.
worked. It still worked. It doesn't say press on it like your guys does.
Right.
Yes.
You know.
I will make sure everybody has press passes next time.
Well, but it was and the overall the expo was the first time I've ever been to a show.
That was your first Comic-Con period.
Ever. First time my son went with me on Saturday. First time he went to a show. So we spent way too much money getting some cool stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I had a great time, and it was Saturday was just so packed.
I don't think I've seen you that childlike, giddy.
It was just like
in a long time. You were even doing that thing where you put your fingers together. Ooh,
I was like,
because you were like, yeah. For me, I guess I didn't think like, holy crap, this is his first Comic-Con. So it's a big deal.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm glad it was able to be with all of us then doing a live show. So that's like super memorable.
Yeah, it was a great time. It really was. And, next time when we go, it'd be great if we had maybe a little more time for the podcast, but there has to be other shows that are coming too. I mean, that Fan Expo is an annual show.
Yeah.
But
also different states around the country.
Well,
Yeah.
right. And maybe there are other shows that are coming that are, that they might lead. I'm assuming the people who did the podcast don't just work exclusively for that one show. That they would also bring together, be like showrunners and whatnot for other shows coming to the area. Who knows? Maybe we can get more time, more mic time with other shows. Who knows?
I don't know, but if they invite us back,
Yeah.
we're going to do it next year. We'll keep everybody updated. You should come to be part of, because I would do it on Friday again.
Right.
So then
Yeah.
we can have the after party.
Yep.
And anybody who listens to the show that wants to get crazy.
Yep.
Whoa!
I know. Wait.
Wow!
No, I meant like go out and hang out and have a couple drinks.
Oh, okay. I was actually thinking that.
And if Dave's like, it's on my time, then everybody you just hear a cheer go up. Yeah.
I was actually thinking that if
That's how if that was like a moment in a movie, you're like, yeah, put that on my tab.
yeah, and then as we're ordering, it's like I start to feel guilty. Like this is gonna be a big one. Oh my god!
I swear, like you were like, I gotta go. I'm like, what? You want another one? And he's like, I feel like you were like, no, I'm gonna vomit. I need to go.
No. You hit the wall.
If I had another one,
Okay.
Yeah, your wall was right there.
Yeah.
It was a very clearly defined.
Yes.
I need to stop now
Right.
because one more
is going too far.
is going to end up in the fountain.
Well, I could have used 3 or 4 less because
Yeah.
Saturday morning, I was like,
man.
oh my god.
It took me all day, I think, to get
Yeah.
over it. But we had too much fun.
Yeah,
It was a good time.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
And Saturday was more chill because it was so packed. We just went back out to that one brewery, right? Got some beer. We just didn't want to go back into the crowds.
Right.
Yeah. Either way, I think we did a good job, and I feel the people I talked to
They were good people.
thought it was great, and so maybe we'll get invited back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope so. I hope so.
Yeah. So we'll keep you posted. You got a whole year to plan your trip to Philadelphia.
That's right.
Yeah, it's June next year, right?
Yeah, it's in
Yeah,
June.
it's in June. So it'll be hot and stanky in Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah.
One of your favorite things in Philly was the smells.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh, the good stuff.
Some of the steam coming out of some of the,
the
openings
aromas
in the street.
the local aromas walking through Philly. Oh,
It was interesting.
It was diverse.
Speaking of comics, we have comics. That's right. Bigfoot Ridge and Paranormal Punchers. You can find them in our store. Just go to paranormalpunchers.com/shop. Support independent artists if you're so inclined. But Bigfoot Ridge is a recent release. It's a what-if story. In this case, like, what if we went out in the middle of the woods to talk to a guy who said he saw Bigfoot?
Right.
And what could go down? Now, I know someone already joked that Dave's not in it, which seems apropos. But that was the joke the whole time.
Right.
But he's making his way into the audio drama version,
Yep.
Yes.
which we do have to start working on.
I know.
And so I made Dave a producer on the upcoming Bigfoot Ridge movie, which is in pre-production.
Right.
But I just said, like, dude, why not?
Yeah.
Why we could do a Kickstarter? Why not make it into a movie?
Right.
Right.
And
be fun.
and I made Dave a producer because I need somebody to make sure my butt is moving forward, as opposed to just sitting down and saying, "Oh, it'd be cool to do this." And he didn't say, "Like, then get up and do it."
Right.
So, but that's not till next year.
Right.
But
All
there's going to be a
right.
ton of new content coming this year.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, ideas
We're
in the
stepping it
works.
up.
We have scripts being made, scripts that are made, ideas that are out there.
I feel like coming out of the Comic-Con, we all were like fired up to do more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pumped.
So that also, I mean, it was great to do that with all you guys. You're my friends. You're my wife. To do that together was an experience I'll never forget. So, yeah, I feel like I came out like, let's do more
Yep.
stuff.
Yep, definitely.
All right, we've been rambling, and none of that was about paranormal stuff.
Nope.
So, but it's still cool. All right, anything from you guys you want to say?
Final thoughts? I have a final thought.
Oh.
Great.
If you're being attacked by a giant werewolf and you're going to beat it off, get some sticks.
Get some sticks.
Dave, final thoughts?
Nope.
Nope.
Or a
Can't,
herd of cattle.
Right.
What do you-
Bovine shield.
Yeah, bovine. I cast bovine shield.
Bovine shield. And on that note, we cue the music.
Wacka, wacka, whack.
No Mallrats fans in here? As we like to say around here, everybody, if it's not weird.
It's not worth checking out.